Good morning, everybody. Um, so I had a spot to do this video planned out, and it's early, as you can tell. I just woke up. I still have my sleep voice going on, but I'm being pulled to do this here and now. So we're gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna start out with something that I jotted down, and I'm just gonna flow through that. I titled this "Life Lessons," and the first thing that I put was that they can sometimes be like the proper way to produce a sentence. And the first thing that I wanted to take note from that was that sometimes we need to know where to put a comma in our lives, where to take a break. Doesn't mean that something's finished or that a lesson is over, but just knowing when to take a break from it, when to step back. And I thought that that was really powerful, just to know when we need to take a break. The next thing I put was to be able to decipher what's a question, so you can add in a question mark to be able to receive an answer. And so we don't want to always leave things rhetorical if they're not rhetorical. If we are wanting and needing an answer, it's okay to form something like a question and add a question mark into that. Or we can leave it rhetorical, knowing that we don't need an answer, because sometimes a statement is simply a statement. Like a feeling, sometimes what you feel is simply just what you feel. Protect yourself enough to know where to put a period so you can end a sentence. Hashtag doing time. And move on to the next one, because sometimes life isn't always a full chapter. Sometimes there's not resolution to everything. Sometimes we just have to learn how and when to let go, and for that to be enough and for that to be okay too. It's okay to be human. It's what we are, and we need love and crave intimacy. It's not just a science, it's our chemistry, and sometimes we have to be careful of what we are and aren't letting be concocted for ourselves. And that's really true too, because I feel like it's our human nature to need love and to crave intimacy and to need that. And we also have to be careful with ourselves, because sometimes we can find those things in places that are not good for us. And we have to be able to decipher through that. What's healthy for us and what's not. And like I was saying earlier, sometimes it's okay to just let go, sometimes whenever we climb, not everybody can follow, and we have to be able to let go of that too. What's that old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I feel like there's a beauty in letting go, because sometimes we could be using our strength to hold on to something versus just easing up and just accepting and just letting it go. I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing and finding acceptance in things that aren't good for you, and to be able to recognize that and see that, and to put a period for ourselves, so we can move on to the next sentence, so we can get through the chapter, so we can get to the next chapter. And I think that that's beautiful too, Energy is so real. Again, it can never be created or destroyed, and we have to make sure we are protecting ourselves from the energy of others. Dark would love nothing more than to claw into light. The easy and hard thing is knowing that one cannot exist without the other. A shadow, our shadow, is that place between light and dark, a place our light and intuition, and our dark, our ego. Life is so much about balance and finding that balance. We are born with 2 feet, 2 hands, and we have to make sure that we can walk through and carry and move forward with as much as we're holding. Life is about balance. We have to be able to stop sometimes and take account of our account, the the things that are being debited from us, the things that are being taken from us. And not only that, as the same token, it's like we should always take the time to stop and take account of the things that are being credited to us on the same side of things, because it's like life is always about balance, you know. And this is one kind of thing I like to just kind of get as much knowledge as I can about different religions, because to me personally, I see religions as cut and paste, and I don't think that my God, being everything that we say that he is, would ever limit himself to one view and one perception of things. And I think that that's something that's really powerful, and that doesn't mean that anybody that practices one religion is wrong. I don't think that at all. But I definitely think that the world has more to offer than one viewpoint of things. You know, I feel like my God would be all the slices of the whole pizza. You know what I mean? Not just one slice, or, you know. So and I appreciate that. Like Muslims, they pray 5 times a day, and just like I was saying, it's that mindfulness and that accountability. And it's not just to sit and praise or to ward away things that are bad, but it's taking account of the debits and the credits of our lives, and bringing mindfulness and awareness to that, and knowing that, so we can have it and hold it in, and know that that's what is in our account, so we can take that with us. Yeah, and so like I was saying, just being mindful, and even if we just bring it back to what I was saying, and we look at our bodies, you know what I mean? We have 2 feet and 2 hands, and we want to make sure that we can physically hold as much as we're trying to move forward with. And sometimes if, you know, things get too heavy, we have to kind of take responsibility and look at what we're trying to bear ourselves with, and make sure that it's even and that it's balanced. And that's something that's really healthy to do, you guys. We can't always be biting off more than we can chew, and we can't always be giving out more than we can take, or taking more than we can give. And it's finding the beauty in that balance, and the solace and the peace, and knowing that you're balanced and you're calibrated for your day or your month, or, you know, your year or your life. You know, we want to not make things harder for ourselves than they have to be. And I kind of want to share something that happened to me yesterday. I know not everybody, of course, is going to have me on Snapchat, but I was on fire yesterday. And it's funny because I tried to extend an olive branch and offer help and advice to somebody who didn't ask for it. And that was my lesson of the day. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it all comes back to that energy, and you have to be careful and protect your energy, because sometimes we're not seeing that whenever we are opening a door, not only can you go out of it, but things can come into it as well. And we have to be mindful of that, because energy can neither be created or destroyed, and it is a balance. It is a struggle sometimes, and a fight each and every day to keep yourself balanced and in a good place, and making sure that you're doing things that feel right to you, and that you're acting out of your own energy and your place. You know, like I said, dark would love nothing more than to claw on and grip onto and have a good grasp of light, because it's like, who wants to live in the dark? You know, who wants to be dark and just that be all that there is? You know, it doesn't work like that. It's balance, and it's gritty and it's tough, but if you can work through that enough, then the way that it feels is just amazing, and you kind of know that it's worth it. And we're not here to be perfect. We're not. You can strive for perfect all you want to be, but it doesn't exist. You know, what we can really aim for realistically is happiness and peace and being loving and shining light into the world, you know, smiling at a stranger when you walk by, because you don't know how much they need that. You don't know what some people are going through and what some people are feeling and what they're enduring, and maybe how much they're trying to carry. You know, we can't always control life, but we can control the way that we react to it and the way that we choose to handle it. And some things are just out of our hands. You know, it's whenever we don't know what to call it, we call it life. I forgot what song that's from, but I don't know who saw it, but the other night I lit a fire. I took everything, old pictures, cards I had been given, a letter from my dad that he wrote my mom, which was like the only thing that I had of him. Shit, even a car key. I freaking burned a car key. It was just like, you know, grades that I had from working my ass off to have and be a dream that wasn't mine. You know what I mean? I burned it all. I brought light to it and just sat and watched it just burn to ash, you know, and it felt good, and it was just like a release. It was less for me to carry, you know. It was cleansing, and it felt so good. And sometimes we just have to do that, you know. You might think that was extreme, but I mean, should I feel better, you know? And sometimes life happens in a way to where you can learn a lesson and know something that you know, but it's, if you don't stop to acknowledge that and to put a period at the end of that sentence, you're still leaving it open like it's a question. You know what I mean? And sometimes it does us more good to see the ending and the beginning than to just let it be, you know? To be able to add a period for ourselves, you know, to be able to know that we structured something for ourselves, or even if it's not in our hands, not in our control, to be able to put a stop to it and just kind of be like, all right, you know, like, this is done for me. Like, I've gotten what I needed to get from this, and I can move forward onto the next sentence now. You know, life isn't always fun and amazing, but doors work two ways, you know. Just as you could be waiting for one to open for you, you can shut it as well and go open another one for yourself, and that's okay too. We don't have to live for anybody but ourselves, and there is power to that, to not let somebody have control over you, and to go with your heart and what you feel is right, and what moves you and what makes you want to move. And sometimes that can be enough, you know. And so that was the lesson that I learned yesterday. And I don't know if y'all know anything about like crystals or gemstones or anything like that, but I know y'all see me wearing this a lot. This is my little evil eye bracelet, and so basically it protects you from others like negativity and bad energy, and I wear this one every day. I guess there's a sentiment to me with it. And yesterday, I actually took it off and wore my orange one instead. And like I was mentioning, after I opened that door yesterday, I was on fire, and I didn't even see or realize how that energy was not mine, and it was burning me up. And I started finishing up on a project, a dresser project that I had going on that was trying to pour a lot of love and TLC into. And I kind of came back and centered myself through that and came back to a good place. And it's funny because after I was coming back inside from the garage, I went and reached to turn the light off, and then all of a sudden I'm just hearing beads hitting the floor. And as I was reaching to turn the light off to know that I was done in there, my bracelet broke. All of them just scattered to the floor. And I don't know if you know anything about evil eye, but after it serves its purpose, it will break. And I have seen the things I've seen and heard the things I've heard and felt the things that I felt, and been pushed and pulled by things that I can't describe to do things. But something just as simple as it breaking and knowing what that meant, but seeing it happen and feeling it and knowing why, that just blew me away. So I just, I want everybody to believe in the movement of life and the energy of life, and not everybody has the best intentions for you, and it's okay to put a period and to put a stop to that, and it's okay to just turn the light off and move to a place that's lighter, you know? And I just think that there's something really beautiful to that. And this video doesn't feel as light as the other one, but it's like life doesn't always feel so light. Sometimes it's heavy, you know, and that's okay too, because like I said, life is about balance, and there will always be the other side of the coin, you know, and it's up to us to acknowledge that. And it's hard and it's not easy, because it's like that, the opposite of, what is it, out of sight, out of mind. But it's like, once you bring awareness to things, that's more that you know, and knowledge is power, and it's, there's something that we have to do with it, you know, and it has to be maintained. Anything that we have and acknowledge and create and care for, it needs maintenance, you know. It needs our time. And whenever it comes into pouring into yourself, you just have to know that it's for the greater good of you and the people around you, the people that see you, you know, to be the light on a dark day. That was weird. But yeah, I just am trying to be the best version of myself, and I'm not ashamed of that. My burn pile was huge, you guys. I filled up the barbecue pit, and at first I felt ashamed of that too, but at the same time, it was me releasing and letting go, you know. Old journals that had got me through life whenever I was all that I had, you know, and just everything that I said that I burned, it's just letting go in taking back control and the power to that, you know? But, yeah, I felt ashamed at first at how big it was, but it's like, after I realized that, like, what that pile meant, that it was everything that I had been through, everything that I have endured, and made it out of and strided through and looked forward from, and it made me feel proud of myself, you know, because it's it's easy to judge ourselves. It's easy to judge others. Ego will always be there. And like I said in my other video, like, we came here whole, a light side and a dark side, and it is up to us to tame that dark side and to keep it in check. And like I'm saying, it takes work every single day. And you just can't feed it, you know? You have to feed what's good, what feels good, and what's right. And to just be a better human. And to know that that's enough. To put a period there. To leave it rhetorical. To know that you don't need an answer to that. And that that's enough. And to feel good about that. And so that's what I wanted to share. Sorry it was a little more scattered, but I'm not perfect. I'm human, just like you. And that's all that we can be. Bye guys, love you.